Imagine waking up and suddenly doubting whether anything is actually real. Your memories, your relationships, even your own existence. Your mind, of course, it spirals at this. What if nothing matters? And the terror is an abstract philosophy. It's knife-edge panic that hijacks your day. Existential OCD is a subtype where the mind obsesses over life's biggest questions like, do I really exist? Or what's the point of anything anyway? But this isn't, kind of healthy curiosity. It's actually fear dressed up as deep thinking. The brain treats these questions as threats and demands certainty that you can never actually completely find. It doesn't matter how much you think about it. You can go round in circles. You can Google things. You can look up all of the famous philosophers. The problem is that really what you're doing is you're getting stuck in an OCD cycle. You're looking for that 100% certainty about it. And as long as we play that kind of game, we're playing the OCD game. We're not actually, digging deep into spirituality or philosophy here. All we're doing is we're playing the game of OCD. We're getting caught up in that cycle where we feel very anxious because we're feeling a bit uncertain about our existence. Then we want to have more certainty about that, so we perform a compulsion. You might find yourself getting caught up in ruminations for hours, looking for that 100% certainty that actually you're definitely real. And of course, we can just go round in circles doing this indefinitely. And all we're really doing is getting caught up in the OCD cycle. And if you are struggling with existential OCD, I do offer a free discovery call. To get that, you can head over to my website, robertjamescoaching.com. There's a link in the show notes. So here are 3 tips that can help you if you're struggling with existential OCD. Number 1 is exposure. Rather than trying to have complete certainty about it, maybe you can write down something like, maybe I don't exist. And you keep writing that down, maybe 5-6 times, then you read it to yourself repeatedly, and you try to allow the discomfort and the anxiety of that to be there. When we're really struggling with OCD, it's because we're trying so hard to have that 100% certainty about it. When you choose to actually write down the thing that you don't like, and then you sit there reading that to yourself repeatedly, it can help you to kind of come to kind of realize that this is just a fear. It's not something that you need to spend so much time thinking about. Of course, it can be difficult. Any type of exposure activity can be very hard, but this could be something that could be helpful. Another important thing is to apply acceptance commitment therapy. So often with existential OCD, what's happening is we're kind of coming out of the present moment, and we're really getting caught up in our thoughts, getting stuck in our heads. And the more that we think about it, the more anxious we get, the more kind of stuck in our head we get. So we want to find a way to actually move our attention back into our bodies and to kind of focus more on the present moment. And there's an activity that I call the 3 steps that can be really helpful with this. Step 1 is to acknowledge that you've been triggered. Of course, this thought is triggering you. You're obsessing about it. You're going round in circles. So just tell yourself, this is a triggering thought. This is a triggering idea. Then step 2 is to try to tolerate the discomfort that it's producing. The reason you don't like it is because it's giving you a lot of anxiety in your body. And if you can actually try to allow that anxiety to be there, you don't even need to accept it at first. I think the first step towards acceptance is actually tolerance. We are going to try to move towards more acceptance of it in the end. But I think to get us moving at first, we have to find a way to allow that discomfort to be there and to try to tolerate it a bit more. And then step 3 actually helps with tolerating and eventually accepting. And that is to refocus your attention back onto the present moment and valued activities. And again, when we move into our body and we focus on actions and meaningful goals, it can help us to kind of let go of all of that thinking for a while, to come back into the present moment. And that can give us a bit of space. It can kind of allow our nervous system to kind of calm down a little bit. And perhaps when you do that, when you come back to that thought, because things have calmed down, you haven't been thinking about it so much, the moment's passed a little bit, and you might not be quite so anxious as you were before. And finally, try telling yourself something like this. It might be tricky again, a little bit. It's a little bit of an exposure activity, but it can be helpful. You can say something like, I think everything is real. I'm pretty sure I do exist because, I can feel myself here. I can experience my friends, my family, all of these things that are happening to me, but I can't be 100% sure. And what we're doing here is we're just allowing for a little bit of uncertainty. We're kind of saying to ourselves, look, I'm pretty sure I do exist. I have all of this evidence. I'm not going to get caught up in kind of, proving that to myself because that could become a compulsion. So we acknowledge that, we have some uncertainty here, but we also recognize that, as far as we can tell, if we just kind of take it at face value, we pay attention to our senses, it certainly does seem that we exist today. If we stop thinking about it so deeply, we can actually enjoy our experience on a day-to-day basis. But the moment that we get into trying to have that 100% certainty that we definitely exist, this is where the confusion and the hours of ruminating starts to kind of come in. So if instead you can say to yourself, I'm pretty sure that I exist, but I can't be 100% sure. And then you do your best to move on with your day. Maybe then you practice those 3 steps to refocus onto the present. That can be a really great way of being able to kind of let go of these kinds of thoughts. So many thanks. I really hope that you enjoyed that. Remember, I do offer a free discovery call. To get that, you can head over to my website at robertjamescoaching.com. There's a link in the show notes, and I will see you next time. This video is for education only. It's not therapy or medical advice. If you're struggling, please speak with a licensed mental health professional.